Kia ora and welcome back to another Red Dead Panda gaming video. This video comes to you all the way from Aotearoa in New Zealand.
Alright, so we're going to talk about Xbox's July event games showcase. I'm going to give you my honest opinions, so please don't hate me if it isn't in line with what you guys thought of the showcase. Again, these are just my thoughts and how I felt about the game and what was shown. So heading straight into it. Just first off, 1080p 60 frames per second stream. I was really happy with the fact it was 60 frames per second compared to Sony's 30 frames, but what I wasn't impressed with around the stream was how choppy it was. It buffered in certain areas, so I feel like there is a lot to be desired there. Now, I really want to temper expectations to begin with anyway, so with the stream itself, obviously what's happening around the world, it meant that this couldn't be the equivalent of Xbox's usual E3 event. So because of that, you do have to give them some allowances. I know it feels like people are damage controlling when they mention that, but it is a reality. I took that into account when I was looking at Sony's previous show because they were limited on what they could do. Okay, so starting off with Halo, opening the show. I was actually really pleasantly surprised with that game. I know I had kind of indicated that I thought that this game would be a showcase piece in the sense like using the Slipspace engine, we would get to see why this engine is so important. We would get to see why this is the game that is launching Xbox Series X, and I feel like we didn't get that. That's from a graphical point of view. It wasn't as graphically pleasing, and now there's found out that this is about a 6-month-old build of the game, so it means that they've had a lot of time in between that 6 months. It's in development, so by the time it launches in holiday of this year, I think it's going to be really aesthetically pleasing. I think we're going to be pleasantly surprised with it. But watching this actual game itself, I realised that graphics aren't as important. I mean, they are important to some degree. Obviously, you're more likely to sit there and play a game if you like the look of it. But as gamers, and speaking specifically for myself, it's about the gameplay, and from what I saw from Halo was Infinite looked amazing and fun to play. It gave me those Combat Evolved vibes, and I think everyone's been saying that as well. I really want to jump in and play it. I don't care what it looks like. Yes, people were talking about pop-in. Apparently it was on a PC, so it wasn't taking advantage of the velocity architecture or the fast SSD or anything like that. So I think if we just let it bake in the oven a little bit longer, there'll be a lot more to show in that game. Overall, really happy with Halo. Can't wait to play that on Game Pass. And before I jump any further with that, Phil did announce that every game that was shown here is coming to Game Pass. So I'm a Game Pass subscriber. We're living in a time where some people's jobs are uncertain, the economy's uncertain. Gone are the days where you're trying to figure out what game can I get, what game can I not get at launch. I'll pre-order now and start paying it off slowly, and then I'll wait till this game goes on sale. I don't have to think about that any longer. I can literally just go, it's in Game Pass. All of these games are on Game Pass. I can play them whenever I want for a small subscription fee. Next in the show was State of Decay 3. Was actually surprised this showed. I knew that it was in development, but I didn't know it was actually going to show at the event, so quite happy about that. I've played a little bit of State of Decay games, not enough to kind of really sink my teeth into them, but with this CGI trailer, I think it gave you an idea of what sort of tone they're going for in the game. It seemed a lot darker than the first two. It also made you feel like you were alone, and now they're zombifying animals, which is awesome. But take a look at the fact that it is a CGI trailer. We didn't see any gameplay, but if you look at State of Decay 2's reveal trailer and the CGI there, and then this CGI, you can definitely see that becoming a first-party studio of Xbox has paid off dividends for them. So keen to see more about that. We next had Forza Motorsports. I'm a big racing games fan, so I was actually happy to sit there and watch that. I do wish we got some gameplay. I think there's a lot more to go and show with that. It is mentioned that it's early in development, so I was wanting it to be a launch title, but obviously it's not going to be a launch title. It may come out into next year, who knows, beginning of 2022. It's either a new engine or they were busy getting the engine ready to take full advantage of the Series X for next gen. What I could tell was just around they're going for quality, and you could definitely see that in the trailer. So I think when it launches eventually, we are going to see a really polished game. Okay, one of my highlights of the show, Everwild. That game was so good. It looked so good. That's its second showing. It showed at XO19 last year, and I think it was one of the ones that no one really expected a lot from, because of the small showing they'd seen at XO, and then now it showed off really well in this event. I went back and watched the 1080p stream, and then I went and watched the 4K 60 stream, and oh my gosh, if you have not gone back and watched that game in 4K, definitely do. Worth a watch. Can't tell you what you're going to be doing in the game, but from what I got from the game, it's very vibrant, and it's a game that speaks to me in the sense of, I want to go and investigate that world. I didn't get that from the confusing trailers of Death Stranding, where I had no idea what the gameplay was until before it released. But with Everwild, I was like, I could get lost in there. That world looks amazing. So keen to keep an eye on that one. Another great title from Rare. After that we had Don't Nod, Tell Me Why. So that's coming out on August 27th. Not much to say about that. We've already seen it quite a few times. It's also coming to Game Pass, so I will give that a go. Alright, please, if you're enjoying this so far, remember to hit that like button and even comment down below. Really want to engage with you guys. Also, if you want more content from me, hit that subscribe button. Shameless, I know. Alright, and then we have Ori and the Will of the Wisps. This did not need to be in the event. This could have been in the pre-show where they announce the fact that it is coming sometime in 2020. They are going to have a 120 frames per second mode, and it's coming to the Xbox Series X. It's already on Game Pass. I have just finished playing the first one. I was going to jump in and play the sequel. I'm now going to wait till I can play it in 120 frames per second. Alright, this next part was Obsidian. They had 3 games, and I was pleasantly surprised by that. So first off we had Outer Worlds DLC Peril on Gorgon. That's coming out September 9th. It's the first lot of DLC. There is a second lot coming. Not much more to say on that. I enjoyed the game. Grounded. I actually didn't think Grounded would show here because of the fact it's going to game preview on the 28th of July, so like in 2 or 3 days time. This trailer was hilarious. If you want the biggest game of 2020, this is not it. Play Cyberpunk. Oh my god, absolutely funny. I played the demo, and it was only 30 minutes, and I was like, 30 minutes was not long enough, so I'm keen for that. The reason why I'm making a mention out of it is just because of how much they poked fun at themselves in that trailer, and that's what the game is. It's a bit of fun, and I think people forget that gaming is fun and they're so focused on graphics. It's about the experience. This is multiplayer as well if you want to play with your friends, or co-op, or solo player if you want to push your friends into spiders to get eaten. You never know. Okay, and then the final part from Obsidian was Avowed. If anyone who ever knows me, I'm a huge RPG fan, like huge RPG fan. Fable, one of my biggest or favourite series. So the moment that I saw the sword in the hand, the magic in the other, I was sold. I was like, don't care about anything else. You've got my money right here, right now. And it's probably going to be 3 years, 4 years down the line before we get to play that game. But I am so keen for that game, I don't care if I have to wait. That's the point. Xbox has given this whole idea of, if the game is worth it, and it needs the polish, or it needs that time, we're going to let it develop and release when it's ready. It's going to be amazing. I mean, Obsidian, they do great RPGs. They did the best Fallout, in my opinion, Fallout New Vegas, so still sad we didn't get to see Outer Ring though, guys. After that we had As Dusk Falls coming to Xbox Series X and PC. Not much more to say on that other than the fact that it was a new studio, not Xbox Studio by the way, guys, but it is a new studio, and it looked pleasantly surprising, and it looks like it's going to be a really good story to play, and I think because it doesn't fit into the context, like the idea of mainstream games and the way they look and the way that they play, but it doesn't fit that box. that's what intrigued me. I don't want the next AAA here. I wanted a game that was gritty, or a story that I could get involved in, and characters that I would probably want to follow along, so one to keep an eye on. Alright, then we had a little bit of Ninja Theory. They announced that the location scouted area that they've done is what, Iceland, Greenland. The only thing I was really sad about was the fact that there was no gameplay. Now there could be multitudes of reasons for that. It could be that they've got the August event so they're waiting, or maybe another event later on in the year. But another reason could be because of this pandemic. The game is mainly mocap. Given the current situation, maybe that is why they couldn't have anything shown, because of the fact that this has impacted their development. And a lot of devs and publishers have been saying that we won't really notice the impact of COVID or the pandemic this year. We're going to notice it in the coming years, in the way that some developments are pushed out because they're not where they should be because of the fact that devs had to work from home. So I think Ninja Theory has been affected, in my opinion. But Hellblade 2 from the showing last year at the Game Awards, I can wait to see what you got cooking. After that was Psychonauts 2. Didn't play the first one. Don't know how I feel about this trailer, other than Jack Black, you're amazing. Also going to have smart delivery. Possibly coming to PS4. I don't know what the rule is with Double Fine and when they got acquired by Xbox. But I'm going to play it. I'm definitely going to play this game. Don't know if I'm going to enjoy it, but I'm going to give it a go, and that's the purpose of Game Pass. Give things a go, guys. Enjoy it, and if you really want it, you can purchase this game. For all those people who like to own their copies of the games, you can still purchase it. The longer you're in Game Pass, the better, and you also get a discount because you're in Game Pass. Alright, Destiny 2, again, didn't really need to be here. Could have been in the pre-show, could have been announced in a blog post or a trailer or something, but coming out, November 20th? I can't read my own handwriting, guys. This includes smart delivery. I'm so happy it's coming to Game Pass. I'm going to get rid of my physical copy of Destiny and just have it on Game Pass, guys. It's including all the released DLC to date, and I think it includes Beyond Light as far as I'm aware, from what I could tell. They also mentioned xCloud, so once that gets integrated into Game Pass or Game Pass Ultimate, I will be playing Destiny wherever I want, whenever I want. After that, Stalker 2. That game looked stunning. Never played Stalker 1, didn't even know it existed, to be honest. Don't know anything about that. I probably will look into it a bit further because I was quite intrigued by the trailer. If it's at all scary, I will not be playing it. At all. Let me stress that. I will not be playing it. But I will watch streamers play it, and probably with a really low volume. I can't do horror games. But no release date. I really want to see what happens with Stalker. After that we had Warhammer 40,000, Dark Tide, or Xbox Series X, PC, and Game Pass. You're going to hear a lot of Game Pass, Game Pass, Game Pass. Such a good value for money, you guys. Liked the trailer, don't know enough about it, but I love Warhammer titles. Vermintide 2, so much fun. So, alright, then we had Tetris Effect Connected. Holiday 2020, not a Tetris fan to be honest, so that's about it. Smart delivery, Game Pass, etc, etc. Probably going to be utilised for xCloud, I think, as a portable game. Then we had The Gunk, and there was a lot of gunk shown in that game. No, I joke. The world looked really cool. I reckon the character model looked a bit odd and strange, but that's my opinion. I will play it because it's coming to Game Pass. It wouldn't be one I would initially jump in and play, but you know, yeah, well, not much more to say on Gunk. I like the look of it. I don't know how I feel about the gameplay. There wasn't enough shown. Like, what are you actually doing clearing up Gunk? It'd be like Wall-E Simulator, but with people. Alright, The Medium. And I will not be playing this game either. But I cannot take away from the fact that this game, it looked so good. It just, like, the moment you started seeing the gameplay, I got hella Silent Hill vibes. Like, big Silent Hill vibes. And I think another big thing was, during May's Xbox event, you couldn't really see the fact that this game was only being designed for the Series X. Like, they told us that, but you couldn't see why. And I think this showing at July's event actually showed us why. So what they actually confirmed is there are 2 game worlds rendered simultaneously So it's a dual reality. So in one reality, it's like real life. In the other reality, it's like hell on earth medium stuff. So rendering them simultaneously, you can easily switch between the two worlds as needed, from my understanding. And because of that, you can't do that on current gen systems. You couldn't do that on PS4, PS4 Pro, you can't do that on Xbox One or an Xbox One X. It is something that can only be done on next gen systems. Whether that is PS5 or Xbox Series X, they have that extra capability because of the new implementations with the SSD and the way they've reduced the bottlenecks and the way they stream assets in. So really keen to see what's happening there. Might buy it. Oh, it's Game Pass. Don't need to buy it, guys. But we'll probably make my sister watch it because she loves horrors, and I'll sit there hiding behind a pillow and watch it. Then we had Phantasy Star Online 2. New Genesis. For those who really like that game or that genre or anything like that, couldn't sit through the trailer. The music irritated me to death. Because I was so irritated by the music, I didn't want to watch the trailer or the gameplay. But it's going to be one where I am not outright going to play this game unless you force me or unless a whole bunch of my friends are playing it. After that we had Crossfire X Campaign, done by Remedy, and I love Remedy as a studio, so I was pleasantly surprised by the trailer. I knew Remedy was doing it, and I was like, well, seen what their optimization skills are like for some of their other games, and I wasn't impressed. But from what I could tell from the trailer, I think they're actually going to pull it off, and they're going to do a really good job. It's got smart delivery, Series X, Xbox One, coming out 2020 apparently. And then finally, the best thing that was announced during the whole conference, the best thing, was Fable. Hands down Fable. I love Fable to death. Fable was the first game that I had played on Xbox, on the original Xbox actually. I played other games on the Xbox, but this is the one that I fell in love with. It's the reason why I got a 360. Well, my sister was nice enough to get me a 360 initially. It's the reason why I continue to be in the Xbox ecosystem, because I knew that Fable is something that Xbox is passionate about, their fans are passionate about, I'm passionate about, and they were never just going to let that go. They know what that title means to people, that franchise means to people. So for them to tease that to us, I was so happy. We all knew Playground Games was making this. They're the makers of the Forza Horizon series. Those are amazing. But what really stole the show for me around that Fable showing was the fact that when they announced it, and you were watching the trailer, and you've got the fairy going, and everyone remembers the fairies from the original games, and then the toad or the frog just grabs it out of existence and then eats it. And the voiceover is just perfect, on point British humour. And I'm like, that's exactly what Fable is about. You guys got it perfectly. Because if they made a Fable game without the British humour in it, it wouldn't be Fable. You couldn't slap the Fable tag on and go, this is Fable. You would have riots in the street by all the Fable fans. But because they hit that, perfect. And it looks like it's going to be a reboot of the Fable franchise done to take full advantage of the Series X. So happy. Now that rounds up all the games I really want to talk about. I've gone through every game, apologise for the long video, guys. And thank you for sticking around for me for this long. If you liked the video, please hit that like button, subscribe if you want more content from me. I am starting out on YouTube, so bear with me, going to try and make sure I have a regular weekly show. But also comment below or message me on Twitter. I'm a gamer just like you guys, so I really just want to know what your thoughts are. But overall, initially, after watching the stream, I was going to give it an 8? I think I feel like it was going to be 8, and then I watched it in 4K, and the only reason I'm not going to give it an 8 is because of Fable. I'm going to give it an 8.5. I really want to give it a 9, but it's not quite there to give it a 9. They didn't quite do enough Xbox to give it a 9, but it's a good showing, it's a good start, it's a good... Here's the games that are coming in the future if you stick with our ecosystem, if you stick with our platform, if you get Game Pass. But This is our promise to you. The games are here. Gone is the no games narrative. So I gave it an 8.5 because of Fable. You guys might disagree 100% on my thoughts around this whole thing, but that's the point. Agree to disagree, but don't turn this toxic, guys. Right, thank you for sticking around, like I said, and thanks for letting me rant on.